Hey everyone, this is Dylan, and today I'll be doing something a little bit different. Something that I have dabbled in a little bit, but nothing like this particular thing. So I just finished the premiere of the Chucky television series. I kind of wanted to do a review and reaction to it, so I figured why not make it one of the 31 days of Halloween. Before I get into the review, I want to give my familiarity with the Child's Play series and Chucky. So I've not seen Child's Play 1, 2, or 3, or The Curse and Cult of Chucky. Those are all movies I have not seen. I've seen bits and pieces of them, but I've never watched them outright. I am most familiar with The Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky. Those are two movies that I really enjoy, and that was basically the only knowledge that I had going into this premiere is of those two movies. And so having that knowledge, I definitely say that if you've never seen a Child's Play movie, but you know like the basic premise of what's going on, I think you could jump right into the series. I don't think there's like any gatekeeping in this series to where you need to have watched every single movie in the franchise, because that is a lot to ask, especially now that we have a 7-film franchise. It's a lot for people who aren't in the horror community to ask of them. If you want to give this TV show a shot, definitely go ahead. You won't really be missing too much of anything, at least in the first episode. So let's get into the synopsis of this episode. So we start off with a pretty clear reference to Halloween, but it doesn't really come back until the end of the episode. We then open up to a yard sale that's going on, and there we have Chucky. Chucky's being put out on the yard sale. We're introduced to our main character, Jake, who ends up buying Chucky. This scene in particular has one of my favorite lines in this premiere, and I believe that it was in a trailer or something, because I've heard it before, but it was the line where the lady who's running the yard sale was asking Jake if he was into vintage, and Jake's like, no, I'm more into retro. And she's like, oh, what's the difference? And he's like, well, about $10. I just really love that. So he ends up paying $10 for Chucky and takes him home. Once we get home, we find out that Jake is an interesting young 14-year-old boy who is buying a lot of dolls. He's kind of like a sculpture artist. He has this big sculpture in the middle of his room. He's gluing doll parts onto it to create like the silhouette of a person. And so he originally had bought Chucky so that he could take the head off of Chucky, and I assume the arms and legs and stuff, and use those in his sculpture. And he's trying to take the head off, and it's not coming off, so he just kind of leaves it alone. We also find out that Jake's home life is probably not the best. He's got an alcoholic father, and his mother had died. We don't really know why his mother died or what the circumstances were, but we know that his father has taken him very hard. The night he gets Chucky, his aunt and uncle and cousin all come over for dinner. And this is where we find out outright that Jake is gay. And it really kind of seems like it grinds his father's gears a little bit. The dinner scene is quite interesting and a little uncomfortable to watch. So then we get to Jake, who ends up taking Chucky to school, and I think it wasn't clear. I wasn't sure at first like why he would just make this conscious decision to take Chucky to school. I think that it was probably because his father was done with the dolls. He like destroyed his doll sculpture and was like, no more dolls. And so Jake had looked up the price of what a good guy doll was going for, and it was like $1,500. So he was like, yeah, I'm going to protect Chucky with my life. So he takes Chucky to school. This is where some like weird things start happening. And during this time, we also find out that Jake is kind of bullied at school. During this class period, one of the girls in his class who's actually dating his cousin has started a GoFundMe account and sent it to everyone in the school because she thinks that Jake is trying to sell the Chucky doll because he's poor. And this is not the last time that this girl Lexi will be real mean to Jake. So Jake ends up taking Chucky back home, and he finds somebody that's willing to buy Chucky or is interested in him. So he calls the guy, and the guy's like, have anything weird happened with this doll? Have you checked the battery compartment? And he's like, no, I haven't, blah, blah, blah. He hangs up the phone because he's lost the guy on the other end. He opens up the battery compartment of Chucky, and there are no batteries, so Chucky should not be working. And so he kind of gets a little freaked out, throws Chucky in the trash can, and then later that night, he goes to the school talent show. And at this talent show, he starts getting made fun of, and some of his secrets start getting exposed by this Lexi, or she's threatening to expose some of his secrets, and then all of a sudden there's a voice coming from behind Jake. And the voice is none other than Brad Dourif, who is Chucky, and Chucky is sitting behind him. Jake's like, what the heck is going on? He picks up Chucky, and Chucky whispers something in his ear, and then Jake goes up to the microphone, and Chucky starts throwing insults and roasting these people that have been making fun of Jake. And I think that's probably about 75% of this episode. I think I'm going to leave the rest up in the air because I don't want to give any major spoilers for the end of this last episode. So I want to now talk about Jake. And I really like Jake as our main character. I'm glad that he's the main character because I am invested in him. I really like him. I really like the representation that he has in this show because he's a 14-year-old, and I think most of the time we don't have 14-year-old characters that are openly gay. And I think that that's really great. I know that a lot of people definitely know that they are gay before they come out, so I'm glad that we're getting a character that is this young who is open about their situation. And I think that it's great that this television show and Don Mancini have made this character gay because we don't have young characters that are openly gay in shows like this. I think most of the characters in TV shows that are around this age are coded to be gay, but they can't outright say that they're gay because somebody might get mad. I really appreciate the character of Jake because of that. And then I also wanted to talk about Chucky, and I think Brad Dourif does a great job in the lines that he says. And I think that the character of Chucky is really fun so far. And I'll be interested to see how Chucky progresses throughout the course of the show, and especially when we get other characters because we know Tiffany's coming. I also want to commend this show because it's not super toned down. I mean, we didn't get many kills in this first episode, but we did get a lot of F words. They said the F word 3 times. I marked it because at least 3 times. It could have been more, but I was like, for a cable television show, that's a lot. I was definitely surprised considering that it is on cable and they were able to go that far. And I will be interested to see how the kills go and how much they're able to show kill-wise once we start getting more gruesome and bloody kills. Because this one that we got in this episode was pretty gruesome, but it wasn't bloody at all. I also wanted to mention the music in this episode. I don't really necessarily pay attention to like music soundtracks, but there were 2 songs in this that definitely stood out to me. One was during the scene where Jake was cleaning up the sculpture that had been destroyed, and there was a song playing that was called "This Is How a Villain Was Made." That's like the lyrics of the song. I was like, this is interesting for sure. And then there's another song once he takes Chucky to school that's playing, and it like really encapsulated the things that Jake has to deal with at school. So I really did appreciate the music choices in this. And I just want to give final thoughts. I am very interested to see how this show plays out. I am a little apprehensive about having our characters so young and dealing with this type of subject matter. I like that the characters are young for the representation angle, but I don't know how I'll feel if we have 14-year-olds being murdered. It's not something that the series has necessarily done, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I almost wish that they were at least 16 so it wouldn't feel as bad, but I am willing to have my mind changed during the course of this season. And I think that's about it. And I just want to say that I really enjoyed this first episode, and I definitely look forward to what's to come in the future of this season. We didn't get any like real cameos from previous characters from the show. I'm definitely excited for Tiffany, and I can't wait for Jennifer Tilly to show up because I really do enjoy her character, and it'll just be a great time. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you watched the season premiere of Chucky in the comments down below and what you thought of it, whether you liked it or you didn't like it, and why. And remember, if you're not already subscribed and you'd like to be, please hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a like if you liked it. Thank you guys for watching and have a great day. Bye.